I continue to believe the markets are missing some very important details when it comes to CleanSpark stock. And it makes me believe the stock is basically 50% undervalued today. But it's not just me that sees this. After the recent earnings report, we got new analyst report after new analyst report talking about CleanSpark stock. Cantor Fitzgerald initiated an overweight rating with a price target of $23. Clear Street initiated coverage. They bumped their previous price target up from $27 to $28 currently with a buy rating. Needham just this morning initiated coverage on CleanSpark stock at a buy with a $20 price target. This keeps going on and on. H.C. Wainwright also has a buy rating on CleanSpark stock and a $27 price target currently. Now, I get asked all the time, when are the markets going to agree with you, Rex, and when are the markets going to agree with what Wall Street is putting out there? And to that, I don't have a crystal ball. That's the truthful answer. I don't know, and there's no guarantee that it will ever happen. But that's what investing is. When you buy a stock, you are basically disagreeing with what everybody else is saying about the value of the stock you are buying, because you believe that investment, that asset is undervalued, and you're putting money into it because you believe that everybody else is valuing it incorrectly. So by definition, this can be a long and lonely road, and that's also why a lot of retail investors don't have the patience to see it through and actually see the profits that they probably deserve. Now, let's walk you through CleanSpark's most recent earnings report, because that's the entire it's the entire footing for this entire video. First of all, I want to say, again, 100% transparent, I have been buying CleanSpark stock recently. We just started a members-only portfolio. If you want to get my buy and sell alerts, extra access to my brain, my macroeconomic analysis, et cetera, and support me further, I appreciate you watching this video. If you want to go the extra step, you can hit the Patreon link in the pinned comment, or hit the join button located right next to the subscribe button. If you are new here or returning not yet subscribed, you might as well hit that subscribe button too. But here, let's walk you through the first quarter 2025 earnings results. For CleanSpark, it's actually somewhat confusing because their fiscal year doesn't exactly align with the calendar year. Their Q1 is actually October, November, December, which usually it's January, February, March. So it adds some confusion, but it's kind of besides the point. During the quarter, they delivered revenue of $162.3 million, which is up 120% from the prior year. This is mostly as a result of Bitcoin prices appreciating, going higher in value, making their business model look much more attractive. The share price wouldn't tell you that. But they delivered almost $242 million of net income during the quarter and basic earnings per share of 85 cents. How do you get more net income than revenues? Well, it's because CleanSpark holds more than 10,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So as Bitcoin prices continue to appreciate, they actually see gains on their assets that they get to log as income from operations at the company. That's how you get a net income number or figure that's much higher than quarterly revenues. But I'll show you this later. I actually think that in CleanSpark's next quarterly report, they'll report positive income from operations, even excluding any gain on fair value of Bitcoin that they hold. So that's a big development, and that's one of the key points of this video. So stay tuned for that. Their third bullet point here, though, is that their marginal cost per coin decreased 6% to $34,000 at their own facilities. This is also a big deal. The CEO, Zachary Bradford, said that the quarter saw the impact of continuous improvements across what we believe to be the most important industry metrics: operating hash rate, fleet efficiency, marginal cost to mine, Bitcoin treasury, and portfolio uptime. They exceeded their 2024 guidance and surpassed 40 exahash per second in January, while driving fleet efficiency down to 16.15 joules per terahash. And they continue to expect that fleet efficiency to continue to improve as we move further and further into the future and their build out continues. They delivered $162 million in revenue at a marginal cost to mine of $34,000 per Bitcoin in the quarter. At the end of this press release, the CFO says it: "We continue to invest in ourselves because why buy Bitcoin at current spot prices like so many other companies are choosing to do when you can mine it for $34,000? And he makes a very good point, and I'll show you that in my price target spreadsheet at the end of this video. What the biggest point I want to make here, though, usually when you go into earnings reports for Bitcoin mining companies, you have a good idea of what the numbers are going to be because they give you monthly operational updates, how many Bitcoin they're mining. You generally know what the price of Bitcoin is, so revenue numbers are never much of a surprise. Earnings numbers are never much of a surprise. But this is eye-opening to me. As of December 31st, they had $2.8 billion in total assets sitting on their balance sheet. And their total asset value has only increased since the end of 2024 as the price of Bitcoin has continued to march higher and higher. Why am I pointing this out? Well, if we go back to CleanSpark stock on Yahoo Finance, we can see that the total market cap for the company is $2.9 billion. So they have $2.8 billion of assets on their balance sheet, and their total market cap is $2.9 billion. That's the one figure that was really, really eye-opening to me from this earnings release. And they have $1.2 billion of working capital as of December 31st, 2024. So arguably more than ever right now, the company, I guess the health of the business, it's healthier than it has been in a long, long time, if not healthier than it ever has been in history. And the balance sheet is sitting in a very, very healthy place as well. Now, in the earnings call, they made some important notes here, and this gets into what I think the markets are missing. It starts with this. They talk about their indirect expenses. They say, while professional fees may fluctuate with activity related to mergers and acquisitions and financing transactions, I'd expect the indirect expenses otherwise to be relatively flat or increase only a nominal amount for the remainder of the fiscal year. That means that the more scale, the more that CleanSpark builds out, the more money they're going to bring to the bottom line for shareholders. And they say that with the combination of increased margins and relatively flat indirect expenses, this is an example of how CleanSpark is delivering operating leverage at scale. And this is the first time in history that a Bitcoin mining company, a publicly traded Bitcoin mining company, will deliver in their next quarterly report positive operating income. And that's when you take revenue minus operating expenses. So operating expenses include stock-based compensation and depreciation. So this is the first time in history that CleanSpark, and I put a tweet out about it. I'll just read you this tweet. CleanSpark will deliver positive income from operations in their next quarterly report, even without the help of gain in HODL value. Yes, this even includes depreciation and stock-based compensation as expenses. This business model has staying power, and it's about to be proven for the first time ever. I would hate to be a bear when the markets recognize this important development. Stack on top of that no dilution and the future of funding growth via earning yield on HODL, and we have a good-looking investment opportunity. And I say real intelligent leverage is about to show its face because companies like MicroStrategy that are going out and buying spot Bitcoin at spot prices, they're not delivering value to shareholders today. They're 100% reliant on the price of Bitcoin continuing to appreciate, and they're 100% reliant on being able to continue to harvest volatility that they continue to say is unlimited in nature. I don't think money for that is unlimited. So for the first time in history, CleanSpark is going to show operating leverage at a Bitcoin mining company. This is an entire dynamic shift in the publicly traded Bitcoin miner space. And you know what? As other companies continue to bring current and future hash rate offline because they chase the AI and HPC craze, that only benefits CleanSpark's business fundamentals further. So CleanSpark's in a very, very good place right now with a lot of tailwinds at its back. And yet the share price is stuck at $10 and what is it, 54 cents today? I believe that's wrong. And again, Wall Street analysts all over the board believe that's wrong. And they talk about that at the end of in the same quarterly report, in the earnings call. They say how they continue to have discussions regarding non-dilutive or less dilutive options, which is reflective of the maturity of our capital strategy as we build out our capital stack and utilize our very profitable operations and clean balance sheet for accretive growth opportunities. And they talk about their Bitcoin treasury, how it's the fourth largest of any public corporation in the world. And they say, as impressive as their Bitcoin stack may be, they want to put it to work productively to help fund the business. They are actively building an institutional-grade Bitcoin treasury team and strategy with the goal of preserving capital, opportunistically managing cash, and driving a lower cost of growth capital in non-dilutive ways. Because of Bitcoin's unique pace as an emerging global financial asset, we can adopt best practices in treasury management from traditional finance while harvesting volatility for our behalf. This is exciting to me. There's not many companies out there that have a HODL balance that they can leverage and earn yield on moving forward, and that also have such a healthy balance sheet and that aren't buying spot Bitcoin. CleanSpark is delivering value to shareholders from its operations. That's a huge deal that I don't think the markets are giving any respect to the company for. CleanSpark's bankruptcy risk is the lowest of basically any Bitcoin player in this space. For that, I believe they should earn a premium. Bitcoin, even in bull markets, Bitcoin has shown that it will take 20, 30, 40% haircuts. And if that happens, any money that's used to buy spot Bitcoin from public corporations, that's going to be a negative ROI. Immediately, a negative ROI. While CleanSpark, because they talk about how they can mine Bitcoin for as low as $34,000, Bitcoin can take a 30, 40, 50% haircut in its price, and CleanSpark would still be delivering positive gross margins to shareholders. I don't know of a single other company that can make that claim and can deliver that to shareholders, and that's a huge deal. Now, switching to my price target spreadsheet, and it'll pop up here on the screen for you in just a second. This is made available to my paid monthly members as well, and I hope this spreadsheet continues to prove a point for me. I log all of the company's mining rig purchases, and based on this, they can reach basically 60 exahash per second based on the mining rigs that they have under contract and the options they have. And as they build out their pipeline of infrastructure from their grid acquisition. You can change your inputs here when it comes to dilution, Bitcoin price, CleanSpark's hash rate, Bitcoin's network hash rate, CleanSpark's HODL balance, the trading multiple, the cash on the balance sheet, the amount of debt on the balance sheet. You can change those inputs for yourself. But what I did here is I just demonstrated at the current inputs. At the current inputs, I believe CleanSpark stock is 77% undervalued. I believe the fair value for CleanSpark, just valuing the business on today's dynamics, is $18.63. This considers 2% dilution this year in 2025. It considers a $100,000 Bitcoin price. It considers that CleanSpark's at 40 exahash per second currently and is not going to grow that going into the future. It considers the Bitcoin current network hash rate of 750 exahash per second, and it considers CleanSpark's current HODL balance of 10,500 Bitcoin. This completely disregards, again, CleanSpark's growth in hash rate, Bitcoin's network hash rate growth, and CleanSpark's HODL growth. Still, at the end of the day, for fiscal year 2025, I have CleanSpark with these dynamics, with these inputs, delivering adjusted EBITDA to shareholders of $464 million. If you put it in a trading multiple of 8 on that adjusted EBITDA, plus consider the HODL balance here, that's how you come up with a price target of $18.63 or adjusted earnings per share, adjusted EBITDA per share of $1.62. That's outstanding. That is outstanding. Here I show you profitability. This here in column C shows you actual results for the company. They came in with revenues, we just covered this, of $162 million. They had a loss from operations, excluding that gain in fair value of Bitcoin of $9 million. But including that gain on fair value of Bitcoin, that's where you get the net income they delivered of $251 million. Well, newsflash, for the first time ever, I talked about this earlier, based on my inputs today, if CleanSpark mines 2,100 Bitcoin, I should change that to Q1. If they mine 2,100 Bitcoin, which they're on pace to do this quarter, and they mine it at an average Bitcoin price of $97,000, they're going to deliver revenues of almost $204 million. And if these indirect expenses stay flat, like the CFO claims they will, all of a sudden CleanSpark is delivering gain from operations of $28.7 million. Positive gain from operations, excluding any positive impact they'll see from gain on fair value of their Bitcoin. Excluding that and including depreciation and stock-based compensation, CleanSpark will deliver positive income from operations in their next quarterly report. I don't think there's any other company out there that is going to do that. And this is an entire industry shift. And I think when the markets realize that, and when CleanSpark proves that this business model is here to stay, that's when I believe the stock price is going to reward investors. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. This is just my best guess, but there are just dynamics at play here that I don't think the markets are recognizing right now, which is actually a good thing if you're a shareholder or an investor in this company today. You actually hope the markets don't realize that, because it means that as soon as they do realize it, the share price should increase over time. The other dynamic here, and I've talked about this previously, is HODL yield. This is if the company can earn yield on its HODL balance moving forward, you're talking about probably zero dilution in the future. Zero dilution in the future. Again, that's only going to help shareholders, because up until this point, shareholders have had to battle these companies' management teams when they're diluting your total ownership of the company. Now, not all dilution is bad. Of course, you have accretive dilution, where if you use the funds to grow and it grows shareholder value more than the dilution decreases shareholder value per share, it's accretive dilution. It's good for shareholders. It's healthy for shareholders. But the need to take on that risk is going to disappear if CleanSpark truly can deliver yield on its HODL balance, which the CFO has just recently started to talk about. Just to give you an idea of this, I put together a matrix. And by the end of 2025, CleanSpark should have 18,000 Bitcoin on its balance sheet. If that's the case, and let's say Bitcoin prices stay flat, if the company can earn a 4% yield on that HODL balance, that's bringing an additional $72 million to the bottom line. They can use that $72 million to repurchase shares, offset dilution, grow the company. This is the future right here. Right here. This is the future. And there's very few, if you look at those Wall Street research reports, none of them talk about the Bitcoin HODL yield in the future being a difference maker other than the research report that was put out today by Needham. This is something that the markets do not realize. And again, I don't think the markets realize this either, that next quarter, the company's going to deliver a gain from operations of $28 million, almost $29 million. Your MicroStrategies aren't going to deliver you that. Even your Marathon Digitals they're not going to deliver you that. This is something that only CleanSpark is going to deliver, which should earn the company somewhat of a premium on Wall Street and in the stock market. But more than likely, and I'll admit it, I don't think the company is going to deliver 4% yield on its HODL balance in 2025. I actually think that this is going to be a 2026 and beyond type of thing. But in 2026, I think CleanSpark's HODL balance should reach 26,500 Bitcoin. With the same 4% yield on Bitcoin at $100,000, you're earning $106 million of additional income that will go directly to the bottom line of the company. This is a difference maker. $106 million going directly to the bottom line. You can adjust this HODL yield. If you think they earn 5%, that $106 million bumps to $132 million. And if you say, well, okay, they're going to be a little more risky and they'll earn 7%. Well, now that if Bitcoin prices even just stay flat, they're earning $185.5 million on a HODL yield. And your companies that are pursuing AI and HPC, most of them don't have HODL yields, or they don't have HODLs, HODL balance, so they can't earn this yield. This is a massive opportunity cost to those companies. Now, I truly believe that any company with exposure to Bitcoin is going to do well over the coming years. I truly believe that. But I think as a result of what CleanSpark is doing and how their business model is shaping up currently, they're going to benefit the most of any publicly traded company. And I don't say that lightly. I do research, every single day, and this is just based on my findings. I'm entirely independent. I'm entirely self-funded, but this is what I see, and this is my honest opinion today. And some of you ask, why buy CleanSpark stock when you can buy when you can buy spot Bitcoin itself? Well, it's because of this operating leverage that will only increase for the company, but it's not even that. I do buy spot Bitcoin every single day. I actually buy spot Bitcoin every hour of every day, fee free, from river.com. I'll put a link in the description down below. It's not even a sponsor of the channel. It's just something that I think is good exposure for everybody to have. You can set recurring buys and just forget it. And I think, so check that out. For zero fees, you can start to accumulate Bitcoin. If you believe in the future of Bitcoin, I highly recommend it. Not financial advice, but yeah, I'll leave that link in the description down below. That's how much I believe in this stuff. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers my bases for this video. I hope you guys see what I see here. I could be wrong always. Bitcoin, it's tomorrow, if the government says that a strategic Bitcoin reserve isn't going to happen, yeah, the price of Bitcoin is going to take a 40% haircut at least, probably. And that's a risk at play here for these companies. But when we consider that, CleanSpark has over $3 billion of assets on their balance sheet today, and their market cap is $2.9 billion, and you consider that next quarter the company's going to deliver positive income from operations, not even considering any yield on their HODL, not even considering any gain on their HODL balance in the value of their HODL. It's shaping up to be a great investment opportunity, at least based on what I see currently. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comment section. If you disagree with any of this, please let me know. I'm always open to new opinions. I'm always open to discussion. I'm always open to new thoughts. With that, have a great rest of your day. If you're new here or returning, not yet subscribed, please subscribe down below. Stay blessed. Keep 10 toes to the ground and your chin up. Peace out.